Understanding pronouns. The reasons are going to vary person to person. Often when someone uses shethi in a personal setting, and they only in a professional setting, it's because they trust their friends and family to not ignore their identity by exclusively using sheher and just acting as though she's a woman. Using theitham only professionally is an easy way to not have to constantly be misgendered by colleagues, because they use sheher and conveniently forget that there's a theitham in there as well. In my limited experience, I think it's something like the friends and family I've had for decades are used to calling me she, and it doesn't bother me that much. But going forward with new people, I prefer they. Sometimes people are confused by shethi. When do I use that? How can you use both? Does it matter which one I use? On social media, people tend to understand that it's just an either one's fine situation. But in a workplace, they might only use one set of pronouns to avoid confusion. Though if it's the coworker who sent out this information, they might just not want you acquaintances to use share for them. I do like to understand why a person would use different pronouns in different environments. Same reason someone might go by Robert at home, Bob when with his buddies, and Mr. Johnson at work. Identities are weird, complicated, fluid, depend on context, just see it as an extension of the person's name. Shethi usually means they will accept either. As to why they may vary depending on where they are, could be to avoid stigma in one aspect of their life, could be that they are only now transitioning, could be that in a professional setting they want to define themselves differently. You could ask them in a polite way if you were curious. I do this. It's because I have family members who refuse to properly gender me, so I accept that they call me the pronoun I used as a kid. They use it all the time when talking about me, so it's a bit hard to avoid, and it's not worth the relationship strain bridges burning it take to enforce that boundary. At a workplace, no one knows me. I can introduce myself by my actual preferred pronouns and the name I actually go by in day-to-day life away from my family. It's like having a dorky nickname that your whole family called you as a kid. This is my son Dickie, except now you're 35, have a corporate job, and you'd really rather no one call you Dickie ever, so you never breathe a word of that name having existed in your past. You're Rick now. You've gone by Rick in every social circle outside of your immediate family since you turned 16. Your grandma will still call you Dickie on Facebook and at Christmas, and you love her so you allow it, because she gets all heartbroken sounding when you try to get her to call you anything else. For many of the same reasons, the person might have different clothes, hair, makeup, language, grooming, jewelry, at work compared to other parts of their life. I would guess either their social media is out of date, they don't want calls from family about it, or they've been getting called exclusively sheher at work and so have removed it as an option to try and get PPL using they. Sorry for being this ignorant, but since people are going to be referred to them in third person and probably bring them to conversations while they are not present, does it really matter how speakers address to someone while they are not around? I'm not trying to be pedantic, just a legit question regarding real-life use of inclusive pronouns. For some people it's exhausting to explain constantly why they use the singular theitham, and so those folks will accept other pronouns for simplicity's sake. If you are acquainted with them, you could just ask what they are most comfortable with, and what they prefer, since you noticed they had different pronouns on different things, and just want to ensure you use what they want. If you're a bit closer, you could ask why they have different ones listed in different places. She is likely trans and prefer Hirsch, but at work she likely works with people who used to call her him, so she settles for requesting neutral pronouns theitham, since asking people to swap to sheher at work may cause too much of a stir, when really they just dislike being called him, so neutral is at least enough to not cause gender dysphoria. Babylon B on pronouns https. If the person is female, use the feminine pronouns. If NB, use the personal neuter. If that fails, just use what everyone else uses. Hopefully people will converge to using one set of third-person pronouns to refer to this person. Otherwise things will just get confusing. Or if the person really is a bitch, drop pronouns entirely and just always use the person's name. Anyone that uses they like that just wants attention. She, they and them are separate words used in different situations with different meanings. I am missing your question. At work she can impose her rules. On social media no.